I don't know. It's actually an interesting.
I'm done.
It's actually an interesting. It's actually really interesting. Thank you. Are you done too? But it seems to me like you don't want diversity.
I do. You don't want to listen.
I feel like I've done a good job of listening, sir.
As you watch this video, notice I open up with, you guessed it, a question.
Why do you guys think democracy and like the stuff we're talking about, why do you think it's important? Where does it come from?
This time I'm focusing on rights, morality, and democracy. And the people I'm talking with, I have common ground with because they offer some answers grounded in American values. But notice that they don't ultimately offer transcendent grounding for their values.
How can you agree with what they're doing right now?
Like what part of it?
All of it. Think about, okay, just let's do one thing.
Yeah, sure.
What about firing scientists? What about getting rid of our protections? What about people who are working to try to keep your water safe and your air clean?
Yeah, all of that's
stuff?
really,
Why?
really important.
No,
I agree with you.
Why would you fire them? What's the point?
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I actually don't know a lot of what you're talking about. I am happy to say I'm ignorant in the areas where I'm ignorant, but I also think that the government oversteps in certain areas. But I think also this government is doing a lot of good things as well.
What?
Like what?
Well, I think measures for the unborn have been really great. I'm a pro-life advocate.
Great.
So I think human life is really important.
Okay.
I think it starts at conception.
Yep.
So I think some of the
So what else? Because I know a lot of people voted for him just for that because suddenly he became pro-life.
all of these. I mean, I think also I think what happens is we've been stuck in an ecosystem, and all of us live in these little bubbles,
Right.
and we don't get outside of it. And I think that we're seeing that a little bit here. Where I'm just trying to have conversations with people. But why do you guys think why do you guys think democracy and like the stuff we're talking about, why do you think it's important from a larger perspective? Like, where does it come from? Our understanding of rights, our understanding of what's right and wrong.
Notice that I asked the question, where do rights come from? This is getting to the deeper issue, which is really what I want to do. I'm trying to get underneath the surface issue in my conversations to the deeper worldview problems that are happening.
You mentioned that we're all created equal, and the only way that we're created equal is if there's a source above us, and that source would be God, right? So God is what gives us our
but
identity.
Your story or your definition of how that works, and somebody else's story of how it works, is not that they're talking about two different things. It's just the way they're talking about it, the way they're telling it, the way they're telling that story. I'm not going to go into the whole history of how the Bible was written.
Yeah.
But that was from a lot of sources pulled together. And fine, if that's the basis of religions, that's great. But there are other also similar things that are the basis of religions. They're all doing the same thing. This is what's so frustrating. Just like all of the diversity in the country, everybody wants to have their own freedoms and things like that. Similarly, all the people that pray to whatever God they have, they're doing the same thing. And
right.
I hope you would agree, they're all doing it to the same God.
Well, no, I wouldn't agree.
They're doing it in different ways.
No, but
humans
Jesus
do things in their own ways.
Right,
you
but
have humans growing up.
But Jesus says that I am the way, the truth, and the life, right? So Jesus says that whether it's true or not, it's not what I'm arguing right now, right? Jesus says I'm the only way. Right? The only way to the Father is but by me, right? Muslims don't teach that. Muslims teach that Jesus is a prophet who never died and therefore wasn't raised.
Right.
Jews teach that Jesus was a false prophet who died and never and was buried and stayed dead. So all three of those things can't be true at the same time.
The people I'm speaking with, they argue that all religions are just different paths up the same mountain, but that's simply just not true because it's not possible. You see, Islam says that Jesus didn't die. Christianity says Jesus did die and was raised. Judaism says that Jesus died and stayed dead. Do you see the problem? In just the person of Jesus, taking the three major monotheistic religions, we see that they have different claims about who Jesus is, and they all can't be true at the same time. They could all be false, but they can't be true. And if one is true, the others are false. And keep in mind, in the clip, it was alluded to that this type of claim to know the truth is arrogant, but this isn't arrogance. It's called logic. As I gently point this out, contradictory truth claims can't be both true and false at the same time. This is why worldview conversations, they aren't about personal preference. They're about objective truth. All religions can be false, but they can't all be true. Because truth, by definition, is exclusive.
I think there's good evidence.
I'm a Catholic, he's an atheist, but I don't see, to me it's just faith. I have absolutely no evidence of it. It is faith, it's what I choose to believe.
What do you mean by faith? Just Just when you say faith, I just want to know what you mean.
Faith is just believing something when you don't have any evidence.
So is that what you think faith is as well?
When people say faith is believing without evidence, that's not Christianity. That's a caricature of what Christianity is. Biblical faith, true faith, is trust based on evidence. You see, Jesus didn't ask people to believe blindly. He offered reasons, his miracles, his fulfillment of prophecy, and most importantly, his resurrection. This misunderstanding here shows why defining terms are so important at the onset of a conversation. If we're going to talk about faith, we need to be clear on what we mean. And this is where I think asking questions really shines. What do you mean by that? It opens the door to correct misunderstandings and allows us to plant seeds of truth. Faith isn't a blind leap. It's reasonable trust based on what God has already done.
But you are convinced that Jesus is
Yeah.
the way, is the right way. Other
Well, as
people
are you,
just
because you're
say-
Catholic, right?
Yes, exactly.
So why are you convinced that Jesus is the right way?
This is the way I was brought up.
But
It's the way I
is
brought
it
up.
the only way?
No, it is not.
Well, but that's not Jesus' way. Jesus says that I am the only way.
Well, then he got that wrong.
Jesus
Yeah,
got that
and
wrong.
actually-
In this conversation right now, we're talking, right? I think it's a good conversation. You have an okay time? Like, I'm okay. I appreciate you guys' time. You think you're right, right?
I do think
And,
I'm
and hold on
right,
one second.
but I'm
Listen,
not
and
100%
you
right.
think you're
I
right,
would like-
but the reason why is because I have a grounding issue because I find value in human beings because they're dignified just by the very fact that they're human beings because they're made in the image of God.
Then how do
but
you know
why
anything? And then this conversation is going to end.
Okay, no,
If
but
you're
why is
only
that-
basing your what you know on one book? Then you really got to get.
Well, I've read a
you
lot
gotta
more than
spread
one
out.
book, but what I'm saying is what I've read. No, but like what I'm saying is you're a self-proclaimed atheist, yes? That means something. What does the word atheist mean to you?
I believe the greatest thing about this country is that the planet, the people in this world can come here
Yeah.
and be a part of this because it was never meant for one type of person.
I agree, and why? But why is that? Why is that so? That's what I'm saying. Like these are moral statements that we're making, and I don't think you have a grounding to make these moral statements as to
What is
why
what
these things
so?
are important. Why is it a good thing?
Because-
Why is diversity good?
What the f***ing Statue of Liberty?
No,
What's that about?
It's diversity, but why is that good? You're pointing to an example of something.
Because the bigger you can look, the bigger perspective you have, the more you understand about what humans are.
Right.
And if Jesus was able to get on a plane and travel around the world, he would also be a worldview kind of person.
Well, he is a worldview person, but he's also an
Yeah,
exclusivist.
in your world.
I don't know. It's actually an interesting.
I'm done.
It's actually an interesting. It's actually really interesting. Thank you. Are you done too? But it seems to me like you don't want diversity.
I do. You don't want to listen.
I feel like I've done a good job of listening, sir.
So this is at the hat of the worldview clash: value, dignity, and worth. My conversation partner here, he celebrates human diversity, which I fully agree with. But then I ask a question: why? Why are those things important? Because on atheism, guys, let's just be truthful. And I know this from experience because I was an atheist for so long. We're just cosmic accidents. We're moist robots. That's what we are. We're molecules bumping into each other. And so why does one clump of atoms, one moist robot, deserve dignity more than any other? You can't have objective human rights without an objective basis for human worth. That's why Christianity grounds human dignity in the image of God. Atheists, they live like people have value, but their worldview can't explain why. It's a huge problem. It's called the grounding problem. They're borrowing from a truth that they deny. Atheists, they live like people matter because deep down, they know they do. That's God's image breaking through.